and welcome to Rosebank Farm and Garden. Today I have a quick project. I need to transplant some iris. It's only been in this spot for about 2 years, but it's already just overtaken the space and I need to move it. So going across my front yard towards the road, I have a arbor with a climbing iceberg rose on it and a path around the pine tree that I put in a couple years ago. Now it needs weeded again, but that's not what we're going to take a look at, so just ignore that. As we start around the path, look here. This iris has only been here for 2 years and it loves its spot. It gets full afternoon sun. It's early morning right now, so it gets afternoon and evening sun. And it obviously loves its spot, but the problem is it's over the path, and the path is next to a steep bank that goes down to the road, so there's nowhere to go around it. But luckily, I have the perfect spot to move this to. A few things about iris. It's a genus that has 260 to 300 species. It's a very popular plant. Iris is the Greek word for rainbow. Something you may not know about iris is that it is toxic to human and animals. The highest concentration of the toxins are found in the rhizomes, which I will show you in a second, and lesser amounts of the toxin are found in the leaves and flowers. Now, it's not toxic to the touch, it's just toxic if you eat the iris, so don't eat it. We're going to get in here close. Iris spread from rhizomes. Their roots are usually underground, but the rhizome itself is on top. So I'm just going to make sure I dig really deep to get the rhizome and the roots as I transplant these. The iris came out of the ground pretty easy. I was able to dig down and get big clumps of dirt and save most of the roots. I ended up with 3 clumps, small, medium, and large. So let's go get these in the ground. The spot that I've chosen to transplant the iris to is a kind of a side flower bed in my front yard. It separates the front yard from down towards the barn area. And I think I'm going to put the iris right where the boxwood is. This area gets dappled morning sunlight, but full on late afternoon and evening sun. Because I have some Harlow Carr roses and some other things in this little flower bed. It's a good thing that iris are rhizomes because, as you can see, there are a lot of roots in this area. But I don't need a very big hole. I just need a shallow hole just for the roots because the rhizomes should stay above ground. I will be using Biotone starter fertilizer that has a root stimulator that will hopefully give these transplants a good start. Okay, this is a slightly different angle. We're looking up out of the flower bed. But I wanted to show you something. I have 3 clumps. But look, this one's ready to divide. See how it's already spread? So I can come through right here and separate these. See, there's the rhizome. I can separate these and have 4 clumps. I was able to just pull that big clump apart with my hands. And so now I have 4 clumps of iris. Now it did break off a rhizome, but it should be all right. Checking my placement. The 3 larger clumps are kind of down below. This is a volunteer maple tree, but I kind of like it, so we're going to leave it. And so I have the 3 bigger ones here, and then there's 1 tiny clump that I'm going to put in front of the maple tree. Okay, so I'll show you on this first clump. I'm just going to move it out of the way, dig a shallow hole for it. I don't need to go very deep. But I want to make sure it's at least as big as all the rhizomes and the roots. Okay, so I've just hollowed out just a small hole. It doesn't need to be very deep. I'm going to get my biotone and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in the bottom, plus I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the roots. And now I want to make sure the roots are all covered. Probably could have gone a little bit bigger on the hole, but it'll be fine. And now I just want to make sure all the roots are covered up and groom this up a little bit while I'm at it. Oh, that's going to look so much nicer. All right, so here's the rhizome. You want to leave that on top, and I'm also going to let this air cure where it broke, but make sure all the roots are covered. I wanted to get really close. The rhizome, you want to put it as horizontal to the soil level as possible, but all the roots are under the soil. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and plant the other 3 and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Let's take a little tour. They're all transplanted. I already love that view. That looks so nice. Okay, so I have the biggest clump is by the grass. Now this is a zebra grass that I transplanted from the pool. I actually didn't plant it. I just threw it there. So then the littlest clump is actually laying flat. I'm hoping, I tried to get the rhizome horizontal with the ground and it just made it lie flat. So I'm going to have to play with that a little bit over the next couple days. But the clump that I divided, that just looks gorgeous. The Stella de Oro daylily is a transplant and it was leaning that way for the sun from where it was. I'm hoping since the sun will be coming from the front, it will thicken up and grow towards the sun. And then over here, the hosta, poor hosta, is also a transplant. And then over here is the last one, and it's also leaning a little bit because I wanted that rhizome horizontal. So we'll just see how it goes. And then here it is from the back. Let me zoom out here. As you're coming up from the barn, so this will be the view. And I just love that vertical element that the iris bring to this area. I hope you enjoyed this video on how I transplanted iris. I hope it's helpful to some of you. Don't hesitate to transplant and move things. I kind of move things any time of the year. So I hope this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe to Rosebank Farm and Garden, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.